Hey, it's Bob, Home Cook Basics. So today I'm making a chicken stock. It's a homemade chicken stock. Now if you're buying store brand chicken stock or any chicken stock, take a look at that box. You're gonna find all kinds of crazy ingredients in it. And one of them is chicken flavor. I don't even know what chicken flavor could be. Making your own stock is super simple. I make a bunch of it and then I freeze it. And then I have it ready for soups, making sauces. It goes in all kinds of recipes. And you're gonna see how simple it is to make a chicken stock. Let's jump right into it. So today for my chicken stock, I'm gonna just cut up a whole chicken. I'm gonna use most of the chicken meat for other recipes, but the bones is what I'm gonna use to make my chicken stock. I also have another carcass here from another bird that I had a couple weeks ago. And what I do is after I cut apart the chicken, because I buy my whole chickens, and I got a great video on that. I'll leave it in the show notes. But what I do is the carcass that's left over from the last time I cut up the chicken, I just throw it in a freezer bag and throw it in my freezer. And that's a good way to have one ready for the next time you make chicken stock. Now I'm gonna have like double. I'm gonna have like double the bones. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep the legs on this and I'm gonna use those in a recipe. I'm probably just gonna bake them. And then I'm gonna use the chicken breast for something else. The wings are gonna go in the pot with everything else. So hey, if you haven't watched me cut up a whole chicken, I'm just gonna do that now. So I like to cut it here. Pop out the legs. So there's one chicken thigh and leg. You can see how quick and simple this is to cut up your own bird. This chicken's still a little bit frozen. So I'm just gonna leave the wings on it. The wings are gonna stay and they're gonna go in the stock. Sometimes I don't leave the wings on if it's, you know, for a meal that I don't want to leave them on. But just gonna cut this off. You can put it in with the fat, which I think there's gonna be enough fat, so I don't put it in with the whole chicken breast fat. So I simply removed the breasts. I got them off here. Here's the chicken thigh and drums. So I'm gonna just save this chicken breast for a recipe tonight. Probably some chicken and rice or something like that. And then I just have the carcass and I still got the wings on. So now I just take this whole carcass, throw it right in here, right in the pot. Try not to get raw chicken all over the outside of the pot. So there's one. And then, like I said, I got that frozen chicken from last time I butchered up. And I'm just gonna take that out. That frozen carcass. And then that's just gonna go in the pot too. All right, so now that I got the raw chicken out of the way and it's all in the pot, I like to do that all by itself. I'm ready for veggies. I got some onions and celery and carrot. And the only other thing I like to add is some garlic. So what we're gonna do is, we'll do the onions last so I don't cry like a baby, but if the celery's got, I just did a quick wash on the celery. Not getting fancy, just cut it into some manageable sized pieces. Toss those in the pot. I like to go for like, I don't know. This is little celery, so 3 or 4 pieces. This is pretty much, you're just gonna use what you have in the kitchen. Carrots, you don't have to peel them. If they're really dirty, you might want to peel them, but I just give them a good wash. You still got to wash them. And then you just rough cut in these carrots. Now something to really think about, if you can, try to buy an organic chicken. I know if you don't buy organic meat, I totally understand. It's really expensive if you can't afford it or you're not really into organic. But one thing when you're making a chicken stock or a broth is when that thing cooks low and slow for the next 4 hours, it's extracting collagen and all kinds of stuff from the bones. And I think you'd be much better off if you didn't have a bird that had pesticides, chemicals, or it was eating feed that had that type of stuff. I think you probably have less contamination when you're eating food that's non-organic if you're not making a stock. So like just a regular chicken breast, it's probably not as bad as extracting all that stuff out of the bones for the next 4 hours. So just throw those in the pot. I like to get a couple garlic cloves here. Just like the everything else, you know, we're not fine chopping it. I'm just gonna take the skin off. Give it a rough smash. It's gonna help get some of the flavor out of it. You know, some people don't do garlic. You don't have to. I just love it. Pretty much put it in everything. So one thing with the stock too is we're not gonna season it. So we're not putting salt in it. The salt is left for whenever you use your stock. So now, the next time you make soup, you season your soup. You don't season your stock. The stock is, or broth, is pretty much just a base that you use later to make your sauces and soups and stuff like that. Actually, this onion's pretty big, so I'm just gonna throw one in there. If you got some smaller onions, you know, go ahead and just use 2. There's no set rule with this. It just adds a nice flavor to the stock. Now I got those skins off, I can just give it a rough quarter. So that's quarter chopped and that's plenty for this. Now if you like some fresh herbs and spices, you can go ahead and throw those in there. Some people throw bay leaves in there. I just like to throw a couple peppercorns. I don't have any separate ones here, but I just take them out of my pepper shaker. I got what, 5 there, 6, and throw those in there. So that's it. We're just gonna fill that pot, get all that goodness in there. The raw chicken's in the bottom. I'm gonna fill it with water. So I'm just gonna bring it to a boil on the stovetop and then kind of pull some of that scum layer that comes off, and we're gonna simmer it for the next 4 hours on low. So that's it, homemade chicken stock. So I saved you the straining of the big pot and all the bones, but all I did is strain it in a really fine strainer. You wanna go as fine as you can to get any other thick parts out of your chicken stock. And there was a real thin layer on top. I pulled that off too before I strained into these containers. This is a great idea, is to put it right in mason jars, right from the big pot. I let the big pot cool for like 20 minutes or so, then strained it into these little jars. And the beauty of this is they're gonna cool off a lot faster than a big pot. I don't put a whole big pot in the fridge because it'll take too long to cool. And you wanna cool your soups or your chicken stock and broth as fast as possible to prevent bacteria grabbing it, because it likes that temperature. I think it's around $1.30. So this is a great way to do it. These mason jars have a freeze line on it with these freezer safe, leak proof covers, and it's great. You just throw it right in the freezer and they're ready to go the next time you need a chicken stock for one of your recipes. So that's it. I hope you found how easy it is. Please subscribe down below, and I'd love to see you in my next video. And thanks for watching. Peace.